Hey everyone, Taras here. Okay, so today we're going to talk about managing debt. Now, if you like my content, if you like my channel, please subscribe. It helps out the channel. We want to do whatever we can to add as much value as we can to each and every one of you and everyone out there. So we're going to talk about managing debt. A really big misconception, and I think that we see this a lot with influencers out there that go out and say, hey, look, the best way to make a lot of money and to build wealth is by acquiring debt and reusing that debt and reinvesting. We see a lot of that, I like to say, noise online. I just want to flat out say my recommendation to majority of people outside of the investors in the investor world is to knock it out, right? You don't need a car loan. Majority of families, I want to say over 90% of families have a car loan. You do not need a car loan. Why pay that extra interest? Managing your debt so that you're able to build a financial future is huge. It's huge. You don't need to pay a 22% interest on a credit card. If you have a car loan, if you have credit cards, I would say your number one focus should be to figure out a way to pay that out. I like Dave Ramsey's baby steps. I think they are great if you're broke. And unfortunately, majority of families do not have that much money saved and they have a crap ton of debt. So if you're gonna be real with yourself, if you're gonna be honest with yourself and you're broke, just say, hey, look, I'm broke. I need some education. I need some knowledge. What do I need to do? Step one part of his baby steps is really save $1,000, right? He says save $1,000 in case there's an emergency, which is great. If you're able to bring that up to $3,000, that's even better. Step number two is to pay off any debts that you have, excluding a mortgage. So we're looking at car loans, boat loans, RV loans, credit cards, right? Student loans, any type of debt that you have, you want to pay it down. And how he does it, it's really good. I like the fact that Dave doesn't focus on the highest interest payment that you have. What he does is he says, let's use a snowball effect, right? So let's say you have 3 credit cards. One has a limit of $500, one has a limit of $1,000, and the third one has a limit of $5,000, whatever, basic numbers. You want to pay off your smallest card first while making the minimum payments on the other cards. You slowly pay that off. Once that card is paid off, you want to focus on the next. Now, once you're out of credit card debt, right, and it may take some time, then you want to pay off any car loans that you have. Car loans, I think, are a huge scam. I think majority of people like to buy nice cars because they want to impress people that really don't care about too much about them, right? Let's be honest. You want to buy a car, you can buy, it's okay to buy a used car. It's totally fine to buy a used car. You do not need a German car if you don't have any money saved and you have credit card debt. You can go and get yourself a nice, reliable vehicle. I would say if you have money in your car, meaning, look, if I go sell my car tomorrow, I can kill my car loan plus take a few $1,000 out of it, or $5,000, $10,000, whatever, and buy a used car. I would say do that. If you can't do that, then of course you want to pay that sucker off as fast as possible. Try to be in the mentality or the mindset of what my survival number is, right? So let's say your survival number is $4,000 or $3,000. You want to cut that number down as much as possible. The number one way to cut that number down is by cutting your expenses, credit cards, car loans, boat loans, RV loans, student loans, and all that. And of course, lastly, once you have no car loans and you have no credit cards, if you have student debt, with student loans, the interesting fact of student loans is if somebody files for bankruptcy, it's still one debt that you can't go bankrupt on. It sits with you for the rest of your life. Now, another interesting fact is everyone knows the US government prints money, right? We're past $32 trillion with the amount of money that we've printed. Well, you think, what's the security, right? The US government, they print money. The Federal Reserve, they print money. What's the security that sits behind the money that's printed? It's debt. It's student loans. The amount of money that we have in debt, the security that the US government says that we have on that national debt is more debt. It's student loans. So student loans, I personally think is horrible to have. Get rid of that as fast as you can. Of course, once you have your credit cards out, your car loans, and then you tackle that. Once you have no debt and you have some money in the bank, $1,000, $3,000, now you have the ability, if you don't own a home, to start saving and planning for your financial future. Fastest way to build wealth, I believe, in America, there's 2 tools. Number 1 is your income. Number 2 is real estate. Find a way to add more value into the market, which means what? Get education, classes, courses, change jobs, switch companies, whatever it might be. Get smarter in what you do get paid more money, and at the same time focus on figuring out a way to buy your first piece of real estate. If you look at history over the course of decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, 40, 50 years, real estate goes up in value, and you're paying yourself versus paying some investor or your landlord, which means what? That's a forced savings account. Your mortgage is a forced savings account. And you have the opportunity to slowly, of course, accumulate wealth through what? Appreciation. Your home's gonna appreciate in value. So that's my 2-3 cents on managing debt and how to get out of debt. Again, if you have debt, I like Dave Ramsey's solution for the baby steps. I may not agree with everything that he says, but with the debt portion of it, when it comes to that phase, that section, save some money in case of an emergency and pay off those suckers, pay off that debt. There's no reason why any investor should be stealing money from you and your family.